making this video just to kind of explain some of the navigation, some of the features. So this will be video 1. You will not have this until the end, but this is what you're building. Eventually it will go to small scale so that you can kind of see what we're building out. Just to give you an idea, this is a paramotor frame, but it's a small one. It's made for hike and fly. So you will eventually see the small scale, and then we'll leave the full scale in its individual parts so they can be exported in CNC'd. But before we do that, we'll test it out with small scale, and we'll print this off 1/3 of its original size and then make sure everything goes together, so that way if we make a mistake, the mistake will only cost us, $1 or $2, versus creating something out of aluminum that is wrong. That could be hundreds of dollars, so it could be really costly. So to reduce research and development, we're using 3D printing along with CNC. You'll create a new document, and you can title it whatever you want. And I'll go back and delete that, and it creates a public document if you're using the free service. And your screen is going to look something like this. So you'll have front view, which I was just on, top view, right view, and left view. And I'm using the left click feature, and you also have bottom view. And you'll notice that that is in X, Y, and Z coordinates. So we're going to be working from plane view and isometric. We're going to use the left click on the mouse. That's what I'm using right now, just to go around this navigation cube, and you can try that out. So that's the left click button on a standard mouse on a PC. All right. Then you can use the wheel to scroll in, and you can do that in plane view. So you can also use that wheel feature in isometric view. So now I'm going to scroll out with the wheel. If you right click on the far right button on a standard mouse, you can rotate those planes around. So let's say I am in bottom view. I can hold down that right mouse button and move it around. Now, Onshape will have different controls than what you see in Bamboo Slicer when we get to the 3D printing portion. But they're all fairly close, and they're all going to work in X, Y, and Z coordinates. So this is the features view. As we do sketches, that's what we use to draw out the part. And then what we use to make the part from a sketch are these tools here. Most common is going to be extrude. So we'll use revolve to create that hoop. Sweep, we'll use that quite often. We'll use this fillet tool to smooth out some edges. We'll use mirror to mirror parts so we don't have to recreate them. Along with the planes, they allow us to move it in those 3 dimensions. We'll use bouillon. I normally don't use this button here. I'll typically use it from the parts view, but you can, and it has a drop down. We're going to use split quite often to split different parts, to create new ones from those, and transform. Sometimes we'll use plane view to set a plane in a different area. So when we use those tools I just mentioned, you'll see those listed here in the features. And when we create a part, when a part is created, you'll see it listed down here, which is what we're about to do. I'm going to be working in inches, but if you ever want to change your workplace units, you just left click on that and you can go to metric, but we're going to stay in inches for now. So all I did, I went up to these 3 lines, left click, went down, and workplace units. So let's go front. Let's go left click here on this sketch, left click front view, left click center point circle, come down here and hover over the center, drag that out. Don't worry about the size right now. Left click again, hover over the center again, and then left click and then drag that out. Left click up here in the dimension tool, pull this away and go 0.315. The green check mark, that turns that off. Left click here, drag this away 1 inch. Green check mark. Now, if I ever say close this out, I mean the green check mark. Otherwise, you'll lose everything you just created. So if we hit this red X, that'll disappear. So let's left click on this green check mark. And that's a good way to save your sketches. So up here on this navigation cube, left click and turn it to isometric view. Right, left click on extrude. We want solid. We want new. Faces to sketch, select your sketch. And we want it to be 1 inch. Now if we wanted to add that to another part, done add. If we wanted that structure to remove something, we would have select remove. And then hit green check mark and there's your part. And then you can come down. All right, go right click on that part, go rename, and this is going to be our spacer. Now, part 1 is not going to be a spacer. You're going to have a more complex part that you're creating on the next video.